the year also that I have planted so many seeds. The year that also I have lost so much. During my growth this year, I have been very I have been planting my seed and growing very consistently in my business. I can say, for most that don't know, I left my job. My job, I was working doing transmission parts, making them shinier, getting that good, throwing them in the machine. They looking rusty and they come out. They look so shiny and good and all that good stuff. But I was doing that and I was working and I had got tired and I just left. One day I just said I'm not going back, and I didn't go back, and I started working for myself. And in the process of me working for myself, it's a lot of things I had to change. So I've started spending more time to myself. I stopped going a lot of places. I started inquiring about things that would grow my business, that would grow me mentally, which also means that I had to start saying no a lot. I used to go to the club, not all the time, but I did go to the club. One of the things I did was I stopped going out a lot. I started spending more time learning, like just on time online, just learning different things instead of just being online searching and scrolling. I started learning so much. And with one of the things I learned, especially with me being online, is that people don't trust themselves. We don't tend to trust ourselves because we are paying attention to what everybody else is doing online. And we don't trust ourselves to build our own dreams and our own goals. We don't have that firm belief and trust in ourselves. And I believe a lot of it is because of the people, places, and things that we have around us. So for me, I know I had to let go. Well, actually, I won't even say I let go. I'll just say once I started saying no, a lot of people just started dropping. It started dropping to the point to where I started questioning myself and thinking like, okay, am I doing something wrong? Like, why does it seem like every time I turn around, somebody is like dropping off my circle, dropping out of it. But one of the things I learned was it's also been a blessing because the people that was dropping out was not for me, right? So that was one of the things I had learned. But during this whole process at first, guess what? Especially as a female, one of the things we tend to do is we tend to what? We don't trust ourselves because of what we seeing online. Because, oh, you know what? Their life is so great over there. And now I want to tell y'all with 2026 coming in that we have, with everybody being more depressed and more stressed and more, have more anxiety online. We're seeing a lot of more psychotic mental breakdowns. And that is because we don't trust ourselves. We don't have that firm trust in ourselves. So now we're going to find out how do we do that? So one of the things is we have to trust ourselves to stand on our no. So a lot of times we can't trust ourselves because we simply don't understand what we should be saying no to. Think about it. Should I be saying no to my family members? They're my family, right? But a lot of times we have to understand that yes, they're our family, but we also have to draw a line and create a boundary where we say no. No, I can't go out with you right now. No, I can't go to that event. I have to stay home right now and maybe I have to work or do what I need to do. Right? Think about that for a second. So a lot of times we're being so frustrated and stressed out because we just don't trust ourselves to say the simple word no. We get so caught up in, well, if I say no, are they going to like me, right? Am I going to fit in, or, is they going to drop off? And that's what we're seeing more and more now in this world, which is why we're having more suicide, more depression, and more anxiety. So one of the things that I like to teach people is learning how to first say no. But in order for us to learn how to say no, we have to get clear on what our principles and what our values are. And most importantly, what do you stand for? If you understand what you stand for, it's not going to be hard for you to understand what to say no to. So like for Queen A, I know what my principles are. I know what I stand for, right? I stand for positivity. I stand for family. I stand for great customer service. I stand for building confidence. I stand for planting seeds. So, which also means that every time that I'm doing something, it should be aligned with that. And if it doesn't, then I should say no to it. So that means that if I'm planting seeds out here and I'm growing my business and I want to build clarity out here, well, guess what? I have to stay focused. I have to stay focused. How can I plant seeds out here? How can I help other people build their confidence with clarity if I'm not focused? If I'm not focused, then guess what? I can't teach nobody else. So I have to make sure that I build certain systems, put certain things in place. And in order for me to say that first, I got to get comfortable with saying no. So don't get me wrong, it's going to be some times where, you want to go out. Especially now, we got all these activities coming up. But I want to tell you now, especially if you are trying to grow, you must say no to certain things. And especially if you are a business owner or you are an aspiring entrepreneur, you should be saying no to a lot of parties right now. You should be saying no to a lot of things right now, a lot of conversations right now. Why? Because this is the time for you to be grinding. This is the time where you need to work on what? Making sure that you're planting your goals. That way, by the time 2026 comes, you already know what you're doing. Don't wait until 2026 to get clear on where you want to go. See, that's why a lot of us can't trust ourselves, because we're waiting on the world to tell us when we're supposed to go. We waiting on the world to tell us, well, I'm supposed to start fresh for 2026. But when you're clear on your goals, you're clear on your visions, you're clear on your values, then guess what? You trust yourself to say, no, I got to start now. I need to start way before 2026. If I start in 2026, I'm already behind. If you start in 2026, you're already behind. I'm going to wait and I'm going to go to the gym in 2026. Well, guess what? You got a million other people that is setting goals, right? That's on their way to the gym. So now, a lot of you, what's going to happen is, and this is why I say you're already behind if you're waiting on 2026. Because a lot of you, you're going to depend on going to the gym or going wherever for 2026. Where everybody's going to be so excited. And everybody's going to be so happy. But ask yourself, what happens after 2 weeks? Because statistics show that what? Most of the people playing goals, right? Half of the world, more than half of the world playing goals. But statistically speaking, by the second week, like 90%, then I already quit. So what are you going to do when the rest of the world quit after them 2 weeks is over? Now, guess what? You was in there and you was amped up because everybody else was in there, but now it's down to you. Now we stop going and we lack off. Because guess what? We was dependent on going to the gym. And as we went to the gym when the New Year started, we was dependent on that company that was there. But people drop off. So you know how I had to start trusting myself? Especially when it came to the gym. I go to the gym in my home. I had to trust myself to do that. Because I already knew, guess what, for me, and I'm giving y'all some tips for 2026, especially for some people that's like, I'm going to wait till 2026, to start working out. Start now. Why are you waiting until 2026 to go to the gym when you have a room in your house? That's right. Oh, I hit somebody. You have a room in your house. And trust, guess what? You have to first start here. Trust ain't nothing but a firm belief in someone or something. So we have to learn how to have a firm belief in ourselves by making things simpler. See, a lot of times we'll stop working out because we don't want to take them extra steps to go to the gym. Think about how many steps it is to go to the gym. Just think about that for a second. You got to get up. Well, we always got to get up, but you got to put clothes on, right? You got to put shoes on. You got to walk outside. And then you got to, hope it ain't raining, or snowing. Hope it ain't raining or snowing, because we know when it's rain or snowing or any other thing besides real sunny, most people don't hit the gym, okay? So you got to hope the weather is good. Then you got to get in your car, warm it up if it's cold outside. If it's not, you get in your car. Then you got to still drive to the gym. Then once you actually get to the gym, you have to get out your car, walk inside, right? Sign in. you get where I'm going with this. Then you have to what? Get on the machine and so forth. And then once you leave the gym, you have to take all them steps to get back home, which is why most people don't trust themselves to get it done. But if you make it simpler for yourself and say, you know what? I'm going to exercise in my room. And then, you like, some of y'all like, well, I don't got no tools in my room. Guess what? You don't need tools to work out. You don't need tools to exercise. That's why a lot of y'all don't have a, firm belief or trust in yourself, because you're dependent on too many things. We have to learn how to make life simpler if you want to grow, especially into 2026. You better make your life more simpler, because people are getting lazier and lazier naturally. So make your life simpler. So that way, guess what? You might get lazier for us. I ain't going out the house, but guess what? You working out, so you're getting smarter. You're not getting lazier. You're getting smarter. So you're like, okay, well, I ain't got no tools, no exercise equipment. Well, guess what? It's okay. Work out without it. Do some push-ups. Do some jumping jacks. You can do mountain climbers. You can do, I can go on and on about some things you can do. But look up exercises that you can do to get whatever kind of fitness you want, right? Whether it's cardio, whether it's full body and plus cardio, whether it's upper body strength, lower body strength. Look up them exercises that don't require any equipment, and they will still get you physically fit. Trust me. I am doing this right now. I am working out from home, and I'm telling you, my body is more cut than it's ever been. I know y'all can't see it right now, but just keep paying attention. But I didn't start getting more comfortable and trusting myself until I made it simpler. Where all I have to do is, guess what? Just go in the room, pull out my yoga equipment, my mat, right, and work out. And even if you don't have a yoga mat, you don't need it. Work out. But I actually looked up what exercises replace certain things, because I don't have certain equipment. But this is why a lot of us are going to have more headaches. And a lot of us don't trust ourselves because we are making the process too broad when we need to make it simpler, okay? My bad. But we need to learn how to make the process simpler. And I can promise you, if you learn how to make the process simpler, you won't be pulling your hair out. A lot of us is going bald because we don't trust ourselves. And when you don't trust yourself, it builds anxiety. It builds depression. Depression stems from not trusting yourself. Anxiety, all these different mental diseases, right, as they call them, they stem from not trusting ourselves. We'll trust everybody else except for ourselves, because we make things so broad. I like to say simplified. If once we learn how to simplify it, then we can, what? It's easier to live with it. That's why when I've created my book, Clarity and Confidence, that's why it's thin. Let me see. I have a copy right here, right? I'm about to mail this out, but I have a copy right here. Oh, oops. I apologize. Whoever this is, I apologize. But it's still new. You see it. All right? So I'll be on there telling me I seen her drop my book on live. I need to say, no, I'm just kidding. No, but that's why I made my book the way I made it. Because I want you to trust yourself to read it. If it was too thick, most people wouldn't read it. And then if they opened it, and if it was too, what? If it was too full, most people wouldn't read it. That's why I made the books like that. Because I want my audience to trust themselves. I want my clients to trust themselves, to read it. And a lot of times we don't do things because we make it so broad. A lot of times, even with, a lot of creators. A lot of creators like, oh my gosh, I don't understand why they, well, you're making the whole thing so broad. Dumb it down. And a lot of people like, dumb it down. I'm not calling nobody dumb, but I'm saying I like to do things and teach things to where even a 2-year-old, right, can understand it. And maybe even a 1-year-old, some 1-year-olds is great at understanding, okay? But that's how we have to learn how to do things. If we get simplified, we'll trust ourselves more. But the problem is it's too broad. The problem is it's even on a spectrum out here. And that's why, this is going. This right here. That's why this is going. It's too broad. Stop worrying about everything else and everybody else that you see online and worry about yourself. It's too broad. It's too broad. Trust yourself. See, a lot of times you can't trust yourself because you're worried about everybody that you see online, everybody that you're looking at on YouTube. You worried about Love and Hip Hop and them and, Cardi B and Rashida and all them. And you worried about, I don't know, whoever else. I don't know. That's why you can't trust yourself. Because you comparing yourself to them. Too broad. Too broad. When you need to be comparing yourself with just something simple as, did I do better than I did yesterday? That's simple. If you start doing that, you will trust yourself so much more. That's what I did. I look at every time I look at the amount of work I have completed. Every day, I get excited. Like, it's things I'm telling you, sometimes I just like, oh my God, I don't feel like doing it. I'm aggravated, and I'll do it all the way down to like the last minute, but I'll get up because I always ask myself, who am I becoming? And if the person I'm becoming is who I say they are, how would they act? They would get up. So I just say that to say that we have to start trusting ourselves and trusting the process and stop making things so broad and stop comparing your life to everybody online and just start comparing your life to yesterday. Did you do better than yesterday? Say yesterday you ain't get out the bed. Well, today did you get out the bed? Maybe yesterday you like, you know what? I've been starting at 10 o'clock and I want to get up at 10. I want to get up at, I want to get up earlier now. Well, did you get up at 9:50 today? If you got up at 9:50 today, that's better than yesterday when you got up at 10 o'clock. We have to learn how to start acknowledging the simple steps so we can trust ourselves more. Because if we see that, then we'll be like, oh, you know what? Shoot, I got up at 9:50 now. Let me go for 9:30, right? Not, I'm getting up at 10 o'clock and let me look at it and wonder why everybody else, and I'm getting aggravated and frustrated because they getting up at 6 and 5 and I'm getting up at 10. Wondering why, man, why I ain't getting up at, how they doing it? Well, the problem is I need to worry about myself. Because see, when I first started, right, I get up early now, but I was not an early bird. I worked third shift because I hated first shift. What? I hated first shift just for a job. I just didn't want to do it. So I love third shift. So for me, once I transitioned and I started working for myself, and I'm like, okay, and I started learning, and I had one thing that kept popping up is, you get up early and before everybody else in the world, and I'm like, man. And first thing I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna do that. I was telling myself, I don't know how I'm going to do that. But magically, what happened was, guess what? I started like little small because I was watching videos and I would listen to Napoleon Hill and Earl Nightingale and, and Eric Thomas and all types of individuals. And the one thing that stood out was start small. I couldn't get up at 6 because I was getting up at 11 and thinking that I was just going to magically go from 11 to 6 a.m. It didn't happen like that. So then I said, okay, well, let me see if I can get up at 9. Okay, boom. And really, I was like, okay, 8, 9. Because I knew 9, 8, I can get up. Okay? Then I started getting up at 8. Then I'm like, okay, I start challenging myself. Let me do 7. I'm getting up at 7. Then I start looking every day at the next day, yesterday, like, oh my gosh, you know what? Man, yesterday I got up, so it just intrigued me and had let me trust myself to do it the next day and be better. It was like I was challenging myself. See, I was in competition with myself. And a lot of times we don't trust ourselves because we in competition with everybody else. But if you was in competition with yourself, you would trust yourself more. Let me say that again. If you was in competition with yourself, you would trust yourself more. Because you would be focused on making sure that you did better today than you did yesterday. So that's how you can, stop being frustrated. That's how you can stop, want to pull your hair out and make sure that your edges grow healthy. When you start focusing on yourself, when you start focusing on your principles, values, and goals, I can tell you, you'll be amazed at the trust that you give yourself. You don't need nobody else to, trust you. You don't need nobody else to tell you or show you that they trust you, because you trust yourself. And by you trusting yourself, guess what? The energy flows out of you. So people start trusting you naturally. They start gravitating to you naturally. See, a lot of us, we wonder why so much hesitation going on around us, because you don't trust yourself. So don't nobody else know how to trust you. Trust yourself. And then see how everybody else start gravitating to you. Also, when you start trusting yourself, you gonna lose people. See, a lot of us can't build confidence on our journey or just take the next step because we scared of losing people. But when you really get clear on your values, your principles, and your goals, you don't care who you lose. Let me tell y'all, on this journey, I have lost people that I thought was, close friends. I have lost, family members on this journey. And I continue to lose them. And you know what I do every time? I say, well, guess what? It wasn't for me. Now, if I did something wrong, and I'm not saying I'm perfect, because nobody's perfect, and Queen A, trust me, I'm far from it. But one of the things I can say is I do stand on my principles. I do stand on my values. And I definitely stand on my goals and who I am as a person. I know who I am. So I'm no longer scared or afraid to lose people. I used to be scared of losing people, so I didn't trust myself. See, when you trust yourself, because see, a lot of us around people that we know we need to let go, but we don't trust ourselves enough to let them go. Think about that for a minute. A lot of you are around people that you know right now you need to let go of, but you don't trust yourself enough to let them go because you're trying to keep up with an image. See, a lot of us trying to keep up with images, and that's why we can't move on to the next level. When you stop trying to portray an image, because that was, and I tell you this because that was how it was for me. I was trying to portray something that I wasn't, but once I got, you know what, this is Queen A and this is who I am, then that's how I walk. And whatever falls off from me, I'm okay with that. Whoever or whatever, it doesn't matter. I'm okay with that, and you have to be too. If you want to trust yourself, especially as we going into 2026, as the world, what I like to say, is full of people, copycats. They love Pretty Little Lies. Drama queens, drama kings. And if you want to be something other than that, you're going to have to trust yourself enough to be firm enough to say no. No, I don't want to do that. I don't want to indulge in that no more. No, that's not who I am no more. that may have been me. And see, a lot of us, we don't trust ourselves because we think just because that's who we were, that that's who we have to continue to be. And that was Queen A. I used to be like, well, that's me. But I am learning every day. Every day, I'm learning. And you should be too. That's the only way you're going to trust yourself. That's the only way you're going to trust yourself. So what is it going to be? Is you about to pay attention to everybody else? Because I'm going to tell you right now, either you're going to trust yourself, right, to live up to your values, your principles, and your goals, or you're going to trust somebody else and live up to theirs. Yeah, you're going to trust somebody else and live up to theirs. A lot of us right now is trusting somebody else's, and we're living up to their values. We're living up to their dreams. We're living up to their goals because we're scared to look different. See, I had to learn that. I'm not scared to look different. I'm not scared to dress different. I'm not scared to wear my hair different. I'm not scared to not wear makeup. I'm not scared to be me. And that's why, especially a lot of women are scared to be their self. A lot of women don't trust themselves to look like themselves. So we see a lot of surgeries. We see a lot of things that's unneeded because people don't trust themselves to be themselves. They worried about what the world gonna think about them. If I don't look like this, what they gonna think about me? And that's because we don't have no trust in ourselves. And you don't got no clarity on who you is. If you got clarity on who you are, guess what? You don't care about what they think about you. You don't care about what they think about how you look. Do you like how you look? That's the only thing that matters. Now, I'm not saying don't brush your hair, don't do all that, don't brush your teeth. No. Look nice, yes. But look nice according to you, not to everybody else. Live your life for you, according to your values, your principles, and your goals. And most importantly, stop holding on to things, people, and places that you know you need to let go of because you're trying to keep up with an image. That's all I have. I truly hope y'all got something from this. Make sure you subscribe for more clarity. If you don't know me, my name is Queen A, the Clarity Coach. My goal is to help young to middle age adults just like you overcome self-doubt by planting seeds in your mind to help you build your confidence with clarity. And I do it very well. I am an author. You can follow me on all platforms, Queen A Speaks. The only platform that is different is Facebook. And that is Queen A, Your Clarity Coach on Facebook. Or The Clarity Coach. Because I'll be changing it soon to The. Okay? So it just depends on when you watch this video. So make sure that y'all share this video with somebody else who can use it. Also, before we leave, we got our fall deals dropping. So make sure that y'all stay tuned to that. So all my books will be on sale. My journals will be on sale. Our workbooks will be on sale. And also our brand new Clarity Starter Mastermind Starter Kit will be available as well. And it'll be on sale. So take advantage of that. And I'll have all that in the description of this video. And if nobody else loves you, you already know Queen A does. Later. Mwah.